Greetings, my fellow eagles and the entire world. This is Eagle Emmanuel Mensah with inspirations and guidance from Eagle Helen Mensah in the unseen world, coming into your homes and your minds with a message of empowerment and enlightenment. Today is the 24th of June in the year 2024, and the Bible says this is the day the Lord has made, and therefore we should rejoice and be glad in it. And for that matter, I take this opportunity to invite the whole world to join me to give thanks to God for the day that He has granted unto us. And life in general, life is beautiful, life is wonderful, life is glorious, life is God Himself flowing through all things, including mankind. Today, I'm going to speak to you on the topic, forgiveness and your personal freedom. I repeat, forgiveness and your personal freedom. We live in a world that every human being thinks or feels he or she is free. But as a matter of fact, if you look at our lives, no one is free. We are in bondage. And this bondage, no one is creating it, but it is ourselves. And so today, I'm here to shed light on this aspect of our life in relation to forgiveness. Forgiveness is a concept that is normally accessed in every nook and corner of our life, depending on where we are. Every human being has the understanding that we need to forgive one another. We need to forgive ourselves even from situations such that we will be free. So forgiveness, as a matter of fact, is something that needs to be performed all the time. And you're not supposed to do forgiveness because of the other person, the one that has offended you, but you are performing forgiveness, the act of forgiveness, for your own good, for you are serving yourself. And so today, how to live successfully and how to live as a free, independent person is what we are looking at. You are a free person, but you don't have to put yourself in bondage. And so if you look into your life, you look into our lives, if you are a man or woman that your life is controlled by other people's action, then you are in bondage. You are a slave to the person. You are like a puppet that string has been attached to. Each string has its purpose, and the one that is operating it has the right to pull any of them. And as soon as the string is pulled, you have to dance to it. In that case, you are not free. You are living life that is being controlled by your fellow human beings. But you are not supposed to look like that. And first, we have to look at this. First, establish that our happiness does not depend on people. And so long as we live in this world, we are not in people's minds. And therefore, people have the right to choose and to do whatever they want. But they do it because they want their happiness. And you are also doing yours because you want your happiness. And therefore, the only way to maintain your happiness, the only way to be free from other people's choices, actions, is to define their actions as theirs and also take yours as yours. And therefore, as soon as you look at people's situation and you don't define them as painful, but you look at it from the highest point of view that even in their stupidity, even in their folly, there is a value, or there are values in their actions, in their choices, and therefore you only concentrate on the positive side of it. Then you are free. Signs that you are free in the sense that their action doesn't affect you. Their action doesn't disturb your peace. But if you allow, or if you organize your life in such a way that you want all other people's life to be the way you want, such that you will be happy, then you are on a very difficult journey. In the same way, if you organize your life in such a way that you always want all people that offend you to come and say sorry to you, in order for you to release them off before you release them, then you are putting yourself in a very difficult situation. For you are not in their mind. They can actually come and say some of these things to you, but they don't mean it. And therefore, it doesn't make sense to you. You don't even have any way to guide us or to gauge as to whether they mean it or not. And so why not free yourself by forgiving people unconditionally? The other time I spoke about unconditional happiness, and that is what we are continuing. Forgiving people unconditionally is the only way to your personal freedom. Your mind It's not a storage cabinet. Signs that you'll be storing all these things in it. But you must be wise to only allow things that comes to empower you in your mind. And so it is common to meet people. Someone explain him or herself to you about how other people are treating him or her. And after listening to the person, and I have had this experience several times, especially with my wife, my late wife. Yeah, we used to speak to a lot of people all over Africa, and we tell people, forgive the person when they bring their situation. Some of them turn around and tell you, you are not being truthful. You are not being sensitive to their emotions. But the fact is that so long as the situation is concerned, so long as your life is concerned, you don't need other people's change of behavior for you to forgive them. For forgiveness is for your own good. It's for you are doing your own service. You are servicing yourself, but not the other people. And so let us be awakened to this fact that the act of forgiveness is not anything that people should demand from us. It's not anything that your religious people should preach to you all the time. But by wisdom, by the understanding that you are the extension of God, and therefore you have a personal relationship with God. And as soon as you begin to harbor negative thoughts about any person, any given situation, then you are distorting the relationship that you have with God. And therefore, what you need to do is to bring yourself back. And unforgiveness is one of the thoughts, the thoughts that brings about this situation. And as I mentioned the other day, if someone can cause you, for you to become sad, for you to go to negative mood, such that you will go to bed and the whole night you will not be able to sleep because of that person, then know that you are a slave to the person and you are harming yourself. You are distorting your life. At that time, the person may be having a full sleep, even doing other things that you are only suffering about that person. And so this is the time. Forgiveness is a personal, daily activity that we need to do. But the way to do it is ask yourself, this thing that I'm thinking about, how am I feeling? How am I feeling? The emotions you generate about the situation is from the thoughts you are entertaining. And as I explained in most of my episodes, you are the extension of God. And by the arrangement, you in the physical body, you have a freedom to choose, to choose and think whatever you want. And then your physical, your non-physical side, which is God, also thinks, but God thinks only in a positive way. And so your choice of thoughts brings harmony between you and God, or bring disharmony between you and God. And so when someone does something to you and you think it's painful, God, your higher self, doesn't look at it as painful, but look at it as something that is needed for you to progress. And therefore, he thinks of it only in the positive way. And the only way you can bring yourself back so that the thing will go away out of your life quickly is to think alongside the thoughts of God. And that is releasing the person, forgiving the person unconditionally. And as you do that, you realize that you free yourself from all the strings that you are placing on yourself as a result of other people. And if you take our life, our relationships, we have a multidimensional relationship with people. You have your parents, you have your siblings, and then you have the wider community. You have your work relationship, your wife or your husband too, they have their relationship. Then you all brought it into your family, the marriage. They all becomes your relationship. Each and every one of you is like an operator, or it's like a string. And therefore, if you allow that string to always affect you, then you are like a puppet. Today, your uncle says something to you, it makes you sad. Then in that very day, you move to your auntie, she also says something to you, you feel happy. And then within a couple of hours, your wife comes and she says something to you, you feel sad. You see, so you realize that your mood is changing based on other people's actions, other people's choices. If you are living this kind of life, you don't have life. Believe it or not, you don't have life. And so the only thing that you can do is to find a way to flush out all other people's supposed stupidity and folly in your life. And as you flush these things out, you become a free person, an independent person who has the right to choose and think whatever he or she wants. And so today, forgiveness is not something that is about church or religion. Yeah, the religious people preach about it, but the matter of fact, we don't even do it the way it's supposed to be. We don't do it the way it's supposed to be. You don't need to sit down to expect someone to come and say sorry to you before for you to know that you have to forgive the person. But what you need to do is ask yourself, this issue that has come, how am I feeling? You see that your breath, you are losing your breath. You are feeling the pain in your belly. Even some people say my leg, my this and that, but they are holding on to this thought that you're not going to forgive the person. Believe it or not, you are killing yourself. You are hurting yourself. Therefore, forgiveness is something that is needed. It's needed even more or almost the same as food and air that we need to exist. Therefore, always perform personal analysis of your life. Always review your life. When thoughts about any situation, any person comes into your mind, ask yourself, how am I feeling? Am I looking at this thing from the perspective of God or from my personal perspective or from the perspective of my personality? The perspective of personality brings you pain, suffering. Leave that one and then look at it from the perspective of God. If you cannot, look for something different to distract yourself. And as you do that, the pain and other things begin to recede and you set yourself free. And so freedom, as we talk of, is not something that we actually we experience because of our personal beliefs and choices, things that how we are organizing our lives. And therefore, today I am here to bring your mind to this powerful thing that we need in our lives. You don't need anyone to come and say sorry to you for you to forgive the person. As a matter of fact, you expecting the person to come and do that before you forgive the person is you holding yourself hostage. You are allowing the person to control you. Sometimes you'll be with your husband or wife or your children and you are happy. And maybe one of them happens to say something that resonates with the person's, or maybe yes, mention the person's name, then all of a sudden your happiness vanishes. You move right away from happiness to sadness, to pain. Meanwhile, the person is not there with you. In that case, the person has pulled a string on you and you are dancing to it. Now, catch yourself. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? I'm not feeling good. Therefore, say, this person is living his own life, in his own world, and I'm living in my own world. And therefore, I release this person. I let him go free, and I go free. And therefore, I take my happiness back. That is how you're supposed to do. But not you turning back to your friend or your husband or whoever is with you and begin to going over the situation as it happened. In that case, you are deepening your wounds. You are hurting yourself. You are deepening your enslavement. And so, through freedom is unconditional forgiveness. Through freedom is unconditional forgiveness. Do not allow your life to be tied to anyone. And it is only when we come to the understanding that no one is on this earth to make us happy. And we are not here to make anyone happy. But we are here to make ourselves happy. And as soon as we make ourselves happy, we will be pleasing to all other people. And they will change their attitude towards us. But so long as we are demanding them to change their behavior, to change themselves for us to make happy, it is never going to happen. There will always be resistance. So forgiveness, unconditional forgiveness, is the door or the gateway to personal freedom. And walk through that gate, walk through that door, and free yourself. Free yourself from people's actions. Free yourself from the things that you think you call them painful. A lot of people are in your life, not because they hate you, but it's because your choice of thoughts. Because you think along those lines, and the law of attraction has no choice to bring them in your life. If you don't want to see them in your life, then you have to change. If you want people who laugh, if you want people who adores you, if you want people who always build you up, then begin to entertain thoughts along those nature. And as you do that, the law of attraction will place you in the path of those who will give you that experience. So life is simply we co-creating our lives with the forces of the universe. And so today, forgiveness is a necessary thing in our lives. And you don't even need someone to come and tell you that you need to forgive this person or that and that. And you don't need anyone to come and tell you, I'm sorry. The word sorry doesn't mean anything. It does not do anything to you. But if you sit down and tell yourself that I am a true human being, I have the right for freedom, I have the right to be free, and therefore I have the power to enslave myself and I have the power to relieve myself. Therefore, I release myself by looking at this situation from the perspective of God, a higher perspective, positively. Then you are a true human being with power and an authority, living and creating your life, releasing yourself and making yourself beautiful and wonderful one and sharing with other people. And so, unconditional forgiveness is what you need. Take it. Walk through that door and recreate your life. You have the right to be and live and have a peaceful and a harmonious life. And this life will not come until you create it yourself. And that is by flashing all other people's actions and decision choices that you consider as painful. And as you do that, you free yourself. So free your mind. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. That is what we are doing. Unforgiveness is more or less, it's not more or less, it's a complete mental slavery. You are allowing people to control your life. So, cut off all the strings. See all human beings as God. See all people's actions as good. And adore them. Like them the way they are. And just release yourself. Let your life be a light one. And you will see that all good things will gravitate towards you. And so, the way to do true forgiveness is to listen to how you are feeling and then recalibrating yourself. Although what this person has done to me appears to be painful, but as a child of God, as the extension of God, I release this person. And as I release this person out of me, in the same way I become a free person. I let him go and I go free. And say, thank you, Father. I bless this person wherever he is. Whenever thoughts about such people comes in. And as you bless, as you say positive things about the situation, the pain and the suffering goes away. And so your sickness, your suffering, all other things that we go through on the earth here, majority of them come as a result of we keeping people in our lives. Some people are walking and they have harboring thoughts about people even who have died, who are dead and gone, and they are still talking about the situation as if it's happening right now, with anger, with all kinds of negative emotions. Know that a person who has transitioned has nothing to do with all this. You are suffering. Someone who has lived with you and moved on, traveled to another country, traveled to another town, and you are still holding the person hostage. The person doesn't feel anything about it. You are suffering. And therefore, the freedom, true freedom, is created by ourselves. Bondage is created by ourselves. Both are mental states. Both are the way we choose to classify things, we use to define things. And therefore, the call on you today is take control of your life and set yourself free and become a free person by listening to how you feel, listen to your emotions, and then take actions accordingly. That is my message for you. Now may the overshadowing presence of God that keeps the stars in the open such that they do not fall on us, that keeps the planets in their orbit such that they do not clash with one another, lead and guide you, open your mind, empower you, such that you become awakened to your true power, such that you cut off all strings that is attached to you by other people, that you be a free person and walk as a true independent person. Thank you, and God bless you.